the Nintendo Ninjas came for my friend.
The Nintendo Ninjas are widely considered to be a myth by many in the gaming community. However, there are some personal experiences that people can attest to.
This upload began with a disclaimer noting the identities of those involved had been redacted for privacy. Desmond recounts being urgently messaged by a content creator claiming to have information that was crucial to share. The anonymous YouTuber instructed Etika to meet him at a secluded restaurant in New York City to ensure their conversation would remain private. According to Etika, the source admitted that they were tangentially related to a major unspecified Nintendo leak that had occurred within the past 2 years. Because of this, he found himself within the company's crosshairs. The story goes as follows. One day, after coming home from running errands, the source's mother said that 2 individuals had come by earlier looking for him. She recalled the men being dressed in business attire, with an air of professionalism. Set aback, the source attempted to relax, only to hear them knock again at the door. The anonymous YouTuber quickly glanced outside and noticed a black Suburban parked across the street. Upon answering the door, the 2 agents identified themselves by name, before revealing their affiliation with Nintendo. His mother, misreading the situation, became excited by this and invited the agents in for refreshments. Upon coming inside though, they began interrogating their suspect with an aggressive line of questioning. They opened a briefcase filled with printouts of various messages and tweets he'd made about the leak, before attempting to fish as much information out of him as possible. Realizing the conversation was going nowhere, they decided to leave, but only after providing business cards in case of future contact. Etika testified that the creator showed him these items as physical evidence of the event. While this would already be frightening enough on its own, the source later asked neighbors if they recognized the aforementioned black Suburban, to which they noted it was parked outside the entire morning, meaning he'd been surveilled. The reason Etika had gotten involved in this conspiracy is that he supposedly had a brush-in with these mysterious men in black himself, when he once faked a story of getting a Nintendo Switch before it was released.
I've even had almost my own personal brush-in with the Nintendo Ninjas due to a certain foolish instance of trolling that I sort of engaged in at one point. That the Nintendo Ninjas do exist, and even though we don't know how the entity themselves operate, we have seen traces of them, and they may be coming for you next, depending on what you do online.
Even though big for his audience at the time, as the months went on, talks of Nintendo spies were pushed to the wayside. It was all but one tale and had very little actual substantation beyond Etika's word. On top of this, the streamer's overall paranoia would increase the following year, with his mental illness getting the best of him in 2019, when he tragically committed suicide. After his death, many looked back at his talks of covert agents working for the gaming giant as being nothing more than the ramblings of an unwell man that needed help. The thing is though, new information would eventually surface that would cause public perception of this story to change entirely and reignite fears of the Nintendo Ninjas. We'll learn more about this after a brief word from our sponsor. Do you enjoy the thrill of slot machines and are over the age of 18? Well, Lightning Link Casino might be for you. This app offers the thrills of a casino, though to be clear, there is no gambling or any opportunity to win real money or prizes. And since Lightning Link Casino is celebrating its 3rd anniversary this month, now is the best time to get started. This is the best app in its genre because you get free slot bonuses every day in your online casino games. On top of this, there are new slot games added all the time, including Dragon Link, where you could win huge jackpots. And on top of this, right now they're running 2 weeks of exciting events, offers, and in-game gifts. So if you want to try it out for yourself, download Lightning Link Casino using the link in the description or scan the QR code right here on the screen and get 10 million coins if you're a new player. Available in App Store and Google Play, it's really that easy. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in the game. As a result of one of the biggest hacks in gaming history, throughout 2020 a plethora of illegally obtained files would be dumped online, in what has since become known as the Nintendo Giga Leak. While most coverage of this story centered around the various prototypes of Mario and Zelda games found inside, several internal documents surfaced that revealed Etika claims of covert agents might have actually been true after all. People began to piece this conspiracy together when the ninth set of data leaks included records detailing one of the company's efforts to infiltrate the console modding community. Exposed specifically was their targeting of an individual known as NaiMod, who they noted as having a high reputation in the Nintendo hacking scene. Referred to simply as the Hacker Enforcement Proposal, this program led to a team being formed at Nintendo that would track targets such as the aforementioned NaiMod. Included in their leaked dossier was the modder's professional background, noting that he was a highly skilled professional engineer. This file also included a bullet point list of his lifestyle and activities, which they obtained by extensively surveilling him. NaiMod was followed so closely, in fact, that they could accurately predict the programmer's work schedule, as well as when he was home. They even noted various innocuous trips made while under watch. In a later revision dated April of 2013, Nintendo employees outlined their plan to approach the 3DS hacker, including hypothetical scenarios for how to best make contact. Just as Etika had claimed, this outreach team is said to consist of two individuals, a Nintendo employee and a member of their legal team. In fact, their stated process seems to line up exactly with what he described. Contact team, likely two individuals, approaches NaiMod as he arrives home or after he has entered. The first sequence of events and conversation normally happens very rapidly. Approach NaiMod in a friendly, non-threatening, professional, and courteous manner. Make introductions. Provide a business card. Engage NaiMod in conversation. In this instance, it appeared Nintendo's strategy worked and he was coerced into submission. We can tell this because around this time, the hacker quietly distanced himself from the homebrew community and advocated anti-piracy stances that led him to be ousted by his peers. It's alleged that these Nintendo ninjas could sometimes offer their targets jobs at the gaming giants, so they changed their online stances. And if all else failed, the company could move on to their quote-unquote final enforcement proposal, giving their target the option of cooperating in exchange for the company not filing a criminal complaint. With NaiMod under their control, Nintendo then began targeting his associates. Their stated objectives were to develop new profiles, confirm hacker identities, and then find their physical locations. One of the leaked charts implies that hackers who complied would be instructed to sign a non-disclosure agreement, hence why word of the practice didn't spread sooner. Nintendo was fully aware of the potential backlash, actively attempting to avoid the negative PR. Some of their admitted biggest fears in this regard were accelerated hacking activities, as well as a cyber attack. Because of those legal complications and their intentional obfuscation, we will likely never know the extent of the Nintendo Ninja's operation. What we can put to rest is their existence at all, as well as the reality that the company engages in the systematic stalking and harassment of civilians. The most troubling thing about this is that much of the late Etika's paranoia appeared to stem from being one of the few that knew about this shady program. While he could never prove the existence of this group during his lifetime, at this point it's all but confirmed by Nintendo themselves that the company was in fact following people. So there you have the story of the Nintendo Ninjas, and in honor of Etika, I've decided to donate 100% of the proceeds from today's sponsored message to a mental health charity. And with that, I think I'll end the video here. So until next time, thanks for watching.